Hi, I'm the Multi-Gen Gamer, and I'm... well, you know who I am. The guy who has it all. Tech, games, impeccable taste in plaid shirts. What do you get the man with everything? Well, a copy of Iron Man VR would be pretty good. I've been looking forward to this ever since it was announced last March at Sony's first State of Play presentation. And now it's here! And I've been giving it a whirl recently, so hello fellow gamers, and these are my first impressions. So here it is finally, Iron Man VR, after what felt like an eternity of waiting. So let's jump in. So, like with any other VR game, I first have to jump into the settings, make sure everything's alright. Now the first thing I did there was I turned on the smooth turning, because I'm not about any of that snap turning nonsense. So what's it about? Well, unless you've been living under a rock and avoiding film releases for, at least the last 12 years, you'll know all you need to know. You play as Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist in the Marvel Universe. In fact, Iron Man is my favourite character in the MCU. I feel as though we've got a lot in common. Except I'm not rich, or a genius, or a playboy, or live in a mansion, or throw a lot of parties. Anyway, he owns Stark Industries, which, up until shortly before this story in the game begins, used to sell weapons to militaries all around the world. He stopped the production of those now, and he's focusing on making the world a better place for everyone. Sounds nice, right? Well, the thing is, someone's got a beef with you because of your violent past, and uses modified versions of your old military equipment against you and innocent people around the world. That someone is Ghost, the main antagonist in this game. So you've got to go to various cities around the world to destroy the equipment and defeat the bad guys. That's pretty much the dumbed down, major spoiler-free version of the story. So I've been able to put some time aside and give this game a quick go. I've only been through the first few chapters, so this isn't a review, it's just a first impression. So how does it play? So the main campaign here it's split into 12 chapters. Now that's probably to break up the story a little bit, to make it a bit more understandable, but I suspect it's more likely so that you have plenty of chances to take breaks between levels. Cause, well, the action-packed parts of this game could give some of you with weak VR legs a chance to taste your own breakfast a second time. And you've got plenty of time to take a break, because loading between the levels, even on the PS4 Pro, takes an age. But once the main loading is done, quite often you're thrown into various different stages where you can run a time trial around the coast behind your mansion. Now, it's a good safe environment where you can try out like different combinations of old and new weaponry and techniques that you've learnt in the game, and try to get the fastest time, because it is a time trial after all.
Great shot!
And much of the time you will be in the Iron Man suit, flying around and blasting your repulsors. And this is the main reason to play this game, because if you're going to play an Iron Man game, you want to feel like Iron Man. Now, on many of these flying levels, they include like various different mechanics, and I like how sometimes it deviates from the norm a little bit, where you've got to do something different. Like, say, for example, on this first level, it's on the demo as well, where you've got to put out the fire in a jet, or fix the wing of a plane. And you know, it's not all flying in the sky and blasting enemies either. There are plenty of times where you're just on foot, interacting with the people and the environments.
Friday, this is the gunsmith. You bring me up to speed here, doll.
Hey! I'm not a touch screen!
There's so much for you to interact with that's dotted randomly around the environment, and I like how much they've made available to you to do in your downtimes. You can even work up a little bit of a sweat. And you know, even after interacting with a couple of these things, I don't know, I was starting to get a hankering for a chicken salad sandwich. Don't know why. The problem I have with the parts where you're on foot is you've got to teleport from point to point, and I've never been a fan of this whole jumping from point to point mechanic that's used in way too many VR games. I mean, my tip for VR game development is, sure, by all means, highlight points of interest, but let us roam around freely. Another thing you can do between each of the stages is you can upgrade your armour, throughout the story. Upgrading your armour costs research tokens that you earn on the previous levels that you've played. So that gives you a little bit of an incentive to go back and try and 5-star all of the levels so you can get all the research tokens and fully upgrade your armour. The voice acting is fine. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. It would have been a lot better if they had Robert Downey Jr. doing the voice for Tony Stark, but that probably would have come with a hefty price tag. I also like the little Easter eggs that they've thrown into this game as well. I mean, the first one that caught my eye was when I was flying into Shanghai, and I saw this tall Oscorp building. I didn't think they operated outside of New York. The more you learn. The graphics as well are fine. They've got their typical PSVR fuzziness around them, but I wouldn't say they were bad. I will say though that we are probably reaching the limits of what we can achieve on PSVR, at least the first PSVR. So if there is anything to take away from Iron Man VR, yeah, it's a great game, I'm really enjoying it, but it can be a physically demanding game. And I don't recommend it being anyone's first VR game. But if you're not a stranger to VR, or if you're a big fan of Marvel, or both, definitely recommend it. So those were my first impressions of Iron Man VR. In summary, rather liking it. Wouldn't recommend it for those who were jumping onto PSVR for the first time, but seasoned veterans and Marvel fans, go nuts. But thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like or dislike down below depending how you felt the video, and be sure to leave a comment perhaps maybe of your experiences with Iron Man VR. Anyway, thanks again, and I'll catch you all next time.